Hello again, welcome back to the channel and back to following this Volvo project. Tomorrow is the day that this old girl is getting some sand treatment because I'm starting the sandblasting. The idea is to blast the floors from the inside to have like good surface for the paint, and there's some rust here and there, and also all these seams that looks a little bit rusty and like that you're not sure what there is under there. There's some kind of sealant. If you don't know what it is under it, I'm gonna blast it. And the idea is to blast the whole bottom of the car because there's lots of rust and all this dirt and stuff. Here are some like rock protection, but I'm gonna blast the whole floor and also the inner fenders, and to have good base for the paint, because I want that the car has many years to come without a rust. So I want to make the whole underneath the car like new. My dad is coming tomorrow morning here with the sandblaster and air compressor. I don't have those equipment here. I also bought new protective helmet because if you have been sandblasting, you know they're like hitting your face so hard. It is good to have the whole face covered. And now at least in the morning I have a good visibility. But I can tell you that at the end of the day it's not looking like this. So we will start in the morning and see what kind of equipment we are gonna use. Half of the body is sandblasted, as you can see from the ground. It's not white anymore. I pulled the car outside with my loader, and now the underneath of the car has already been blasted. It is pretty nice to be able to roll the body and have like good angle to work on. This side fender is already done. I think next I'm gonna start blasting from the inside, the floors and the firewall, at least the seams that looked like there's rust. We just had coffee break, and now it's time to start blasting again. The air compressor is borrowed from my cousin. It's Holman pretty big and old. It has 4-cylinder diesel engine from Ford, and it's rotating the compressor. There is enough air. Last weekend we tested this and fixed a few things. First, it didn't like have any kind of adjustment when the pressure went up. Only thing that happened was the overpressure valve like opened. But then I opened these valves and checked everything and cleaned and put new gasket, and now it's working. You can adjust it from here. Now it's closing the intake air when the pressure that has been set from here comes through, and then it closes the air. And at the same time this valve pushes the throttle linkage, so the engine RPM comes down a little bit. But I will continue, and after the body I still have all the chassis parts left, so it's gonna be a long day. What a mess. I already tried to clean most of them by blowing, but it's so hard ice, so it doesn't like bite too well for the ground. And also my face is messy. It is dirty job, but it's done now, and the spring sun is shining, so it's a good feeling. The compressor did its job, even there was few hiccups. We had to stop yesterday a little bit early because the compressor started shutting down by itself, and the whole evening went to diagnose the problem and fixing the problem. But luckily it worked today and we get the job done. There is like in the housing where the compressed air goes to the tank, there is this valve that opens when there's too much pressure in the system, and it goes to the fuel pump, to the shutter. So it's shutting down the engine if the pressure goes too high. And there should be some kind of ball and spring that it is only, so it's only like shutting down when the pressure wins the springs pressure. The air pressure is higher than the springs pressure. So, but in the past someone has lost the spring and there was like tin, melted tin, and it was like shaped like a cone, so it shut it. It wasn't like working at all. The whole safety feature was like taken off. But yesterday the tin broke it, so there was little passage for the air, and that's why it was like shutting down. I had few springs and I tried to like make it function, but the spring was too weak, so we decided to put it off like it was, and then the compressor worked okay. And then there was some problems with the sandblaster. There was all kind of dirt in the sand. There was like this piece of tape and foam and rocks and etc. So it was getting like stuck. The sand didn't came through, so only air. So we tear it down a few times, and there's also this huge spring that shuts off the sand when it's not operating, and the air and the compressed air opens the valve, so it pushed the spring away. And there was little leak in the rubber, so we fixed that, and the rest of the day today was okay, but yesterday we had to stop a little early. So I don't have any video from today's blasting because I was busy to keep the machines running and blasting. But and I don't know how long it recorded yesterday because the battery was dead at some point. But here are all the smaller parts, all the rear and front suspension parts blasted, looking nice. And of course the body. I almost blasted the whole body yesterday, just few tiny spots needed to be done today, but now it's done. So the whole engine bay has been blasted, and the windshield edges, and I decided to sandblast this panel as well because I need to put some new metal under the windshield, and I also need to repair this. So, and I didn't want to clean all these lines with some angle grinder or something, so I just decided to sandblast it. There is nothing too crazy. There's these seams in the both sides. This one is a little worse, so I think I need to make at least a little bit little piece of this support beam. And here was little surprise, because there was this protective mass. It looked okay, but it has been rusted from the inside. It's inside the beam. There are a few holes and a little bit work to do. From the inside, the front is just slightly blasted, so the paint will stuck better. But I tried to get these blasted better because I know there is holes in here, in the both sides. And the rear floors, you can actually see where's the dark spot that is rust. This is full of little holes, so I need to cut it a little bit bigger in the both sides. The sides have been changed in the 90s, but you can see where the original sheet metal is, it is rusted, so I need to go through these all. I also blasted this inner fenders, but this stuff is so tough, so the sandblaster don't do anything. So I need to see if it looks like that underneath might be rust, and I need to take it by other ways. But I think it's pretty good now to start working with the car, because you can see everything. And of course the whole underneath of the car is bare metal. I also blasted the edge of where the fuel tank is coming, because it looked bad, but actually it's not too bad. Here was some rust, so I need to see if this needs more than just new paint, now that the rust is off. And I also tried to blast everything where I could see that there was some earlier patches, because usually the rust just keeps spreading in the seams. So, but yeah, it is so much easier and more pleasant to do the metal works when you can actually see, and you don't need to grind all the time. But yeah, it was a big job, but now it's done. And I appreciate that my dad came to help me, because there was work for two. My dad controlled the air compressor and filled up the sand in the sandblaster, and also helped me to because there was at some point there was so thick layer of the protective stuff, so it needed to taken off by knife. So that was pretty hard, so 2 pairs of hand is so much faster. And as I mentioned, it is one-time use only. The visibility is not the best. And if you go to the dark spots, you don't see anything. At the beginning I was a little too enthusiastic, so I didn't have the mask, but then I took this so I could keep my nose open. I don't know when the next episode is coming up, because at this point everything was pretty straightforward stuff, but now I need to start metal work, so I do it one piece at a time, so it takes a long time. And I also need to do a few other projects before the spring. My moped's engine was broken last summer, so I need to rebuild the engine for the summer. And I finally got motivation to do the engine dyno, inertia dyno for the moped, so I'm gonna do that also before the summer. There's no rush with this project now. It is in good position, in my opinion. this was like big job, and I needed help, so every time the schedules and stuff need to be like planned more carefully, so I'm glad that it's done now. And I really want to thank my dad. It is good to have help with these kind of projects. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.